I am just charging my Apple Pencil and I'm gathering up a few questions that you guys have asked me over YouTube, Tumblr and Instagram. I don't know if you can hear it, but my voice still isn't completely back. It's about 95% recovered. Sometimes I get a bit of a dry spell and can't get my words completely across, but I'll be okay for this video. I've been wanting to film a Q&A for a while. For those who will ask, I'm going to be using Clip Studio Paint today. It's the cheapest version of it. I think it's the Pro. That's called the Pro. I'll be using this. I'm not really sure what to draw yet. I still feel the rust very strongly. I have been drawing and drawing a lot on my own, but it's just not enough. This year is a very strange year. I feel like my style is changing too, but that's a good thing. Coffee. I feel bad that I've been taking it easy this month, but at the same time I really need to. I've just been thinking a lot about balancing the work side of art with the fun side of it. I'm lucky enough to be in a position where I can draw what I'd like really and release it, but there are certain limitations to that as well. Anyway, let's see. 55%. I think we're good. Haven't done a Q&A on the iPad before. I've just been doing it in sketchbooks, haven't I? I don't know what to talk about, guys. I haven't talked in a few weeks, like, properly because of my voice, so it feels a little bit strange. Yeah, I've been playing a lot of Spider-Man on the PS4. Alright, so should we get to a question? Would be a pretty good idea. Is that alright? Should I zoom in for you? I'll zoom in. Is that better? Is that better? Let me know. Yeah, it's because I draw too small. Oh, my wonky boy. It's really weird. I usually, when I'm drawing on my iPad, I usually have it like an angle to me. So this is quite strange having to draw on it when it's flat on the table. Okay, let me try and answer some questions. So, iChucks is asking about making a zine. I want to create a sketchbook zine to sell at a con this August. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, it's September. No, I hope you found a solution, but if not, then I'll try and answer this question anyway. To kind of get my original work out there, it's going to be 15 pages of full sketches. I plan to just have 5 copies of it, but with the printing cost, I'm worried that they won't sell. Any advice? Yeah, I do have a bit of advice. If you are wanting to produce a zine, which is only going to have a few copies, all the places you find quotes from are quite expensive, then you can consider printing it yourself and then just start saddle stitching it. That's how zines were originally made, and if you don't have a printer, then you can just go to like a local place like Staples or something and get it printed on copy paper and then just staple those together yourself, which would be a lot cheaper than trying to find a place that will do a low quantity that are already bound. So that is quite a good option, and you can still sell them. The quality's fine, really, especially if it's something like a sketch zine. Then I don't think you would have trouble selling it either, and it won't cost you too much up front. So I'm sorry, that's a very late answer. I'm sure you figured something out though, because you're smart like that. Next question by Macy L. Can you make a drawing tutorial with faces, eyes, mouth, noses, and different views? I feel like my faces are really lacking, or there's probably way more people more qualified than I to give you advice on this, but about the angles one, I can somewhat help you. So let's see. If you go to my PayHip store, which is this one here, and then go to here, mini tips on drawing, I have a little PDF you can download for free that has a few tips on how to tackle features in different angles. So it's free, so if you just press download, type your email address in here. Huh, never done this. So download now. I think it works on these devices. I just hit download there. My plan is to do a few more of these and just update this PDF when I have more, but over the last year I really feel like my drawing isn't as good as it used to be, so I haven't really made any more since then. Okay, so open in. I really hate iOS sometimes. Alright, copy to iBooks. Okay, we're in iBooks now. Let me just zoom out. Yeah, so here is what it looks like. You can get it on my PayHip store, and yeah, it's just a little demonstration about how to draw features and heads in different angles. It's mostly just about visualizing perspective, so just keep it in mind really. Perspective is very important when it comes to drawing things in space. So yeah, hope that helps you. Wow, Wonky Boy is really not looking good. Next question. So Gantic is asking, I try to draw finished pieces digitally and upload them to my Instagram, but I really want to be able to work on a sketchbook too. How do you manage to do both? Because the way I see it, I could either draw a sketch that I would never come back to again, or make a finished piece that I can put up on profile to always see. It really depends on your goals. You're asking how I managed to do both. I don't do both, if I'm honest. I haven't drawn in my sketchbook in ages, but I sketch a lot on my iPad, so I'm going to use that as the equivalent of a sketchbook. So I feel like you need to figure out what your goal is with the drawings that you want to do. It sounds like you already really know, because one of them will be finished piece that you can put on your profile, so that would be good for you to, update and share your work. And then the other one won't be seen, but it could be good for like if you're practicing something or wanting to figure out how to draw a particular thing. So that's good for your overall skill, like your overall practice, and you will feel more comfortable drawing that subject later on. So it's just really deciding what the goal is. Yeah, I don't post as often as I would like to, but I would rather have less finished pieces that are good than more finished pieces that were like half-baked just because I wanted to post something. If you get me. So everybody's different. It just depends on what your goals are and how often you would like to post something. I hope that helps. The next question. How long have you been drawing? How long does it usually take for you to complete one sketch? Do you practice anatomy, take classes, or just learn along the way? This is asked by Millie. Millie, I've been drawing for... How long have I been drawing for? Over 10 years. No, over 12 years. To complete a sketch, it depends on the level of detail of the sketch. For my finished sketches, I can get particularly picky in some cases. So sometimes a sketch will take me a few hours, and if I'm somehow in the groove or like in the flow state, then sometimes the sketch will take me 10 minutes. It's really varied. It's not very consistent in that regard, but it helps if you can visualize what you're trying to draw in the first place in your head in some way, and then try and draw it. So I'm trying my best to do that now these days rather than just winging it. Did you practice anatomy, take classes? I kind of took some online courses, so those really helped me. I watched a lot of videos, and I did practice a lot. But I practiced a lot outside of drawing, just my own stuff, just so I can understand the forms and the names and how things work. But I feel like anatomy is one of those things that you always have to go back to, because I'm forgetting a lot of the stuff that I learned, and I'm finding it harder to recall them. So you definitely need to refresh every now and then. It's never something that you just do once. So it's always something you have to revisit. You learn something different every time. It's kind of my focus at the moment to improve my perspective on anatomy. Yes, it's an ongoing journey. I mean, learning along the way is fine. I did that for a long time, but And I could draw mostly accurately in proportion, but knowing the more in-depth stuff really does help you. It's good to sit down and study, even though it's not what you always want to hear. Okay, next question. This is by Pete Patch Sketches. I was wondering how you like Clip Studio. Is it like Photoshop or Sci type of app? Also, if you buy it for a year, if you get a new device like another iPad, do you have to repay for it, or is it like a sign in and it's good? Yeah, so it's linked to your Apple ID. So it's like with any app, you can restore your purchases through the App Store. So yeah, if you get a new device, you'll be fine. You'll be good. I really like it. You know, I only started using Clip Studio Paint like this year, maybe, mostly. It's a very easy transition for me since my main tool before was Photoshop. I actually recommend people to learn Photoshop before they learn Clip Studio, because there's a lot of default stuff in Photoshop that you can translate really well into Clip Studio, but they're not default in Clip Studio, if that makes sense. So like a lot of the shortcuts that you use in Photoshop and you pick them up, you can apply them into Clip Studio afterwards, and they would really help your workflow. So I advise learning Photoshop, because it is industry standard too. So if you ever need to use it in a professional setting, you'll be able to, but like for your own stuff, you can use whatever you want. Clip Studio is very powerful though. The only thing I think Photoshop does better is transform tools. Also, I actually haven't found a painting brush I like that much in Clip Studio. I did try and make my own. I think I need to tweak it again because it's a bit too hard. And also like color selection in Clip Studio, the opacity in Clip Studio for brushes differs to that in Photoshop, so I'm still getting used to that. But other than that, yeah, highly recommend Clip Studio, especially for its price, and especially if you have an iPad, because the iPad version is the same as the desktop version, so it's very powerful stuff. And I believe like the more expensive version of this, you can create books and layouts, so if you don't have InDesign, you could probably use Clip Studio. I never use Sci, but I hear that you can get similar results in Clip Studio. It's all just personal preference though. Okay, next question by Hong Selby. I'm sorry, I cannot pronounce that. How do you get more confident in your lines? I feel like when I draw pen and pencil, my lines are so messy and they are too many and it becomes a mess. It's honestly mileage, my friend. I think you can be more aware about your lines, but I do think the confidence thing comes naturally over time, over just drawing a lot. Don't underestimate the amount you need to draw to achieve the line quality you might be looking for. I remember getting complimented a few years ago over my line weight, or my people just liking the way I drew, like the lines, and I was really confused because it was never something I consciously thought about. But apparently it's a thing. I think it just comes over time. If you think more in shapes than line, then it could help you. You want to make sure you get that shape down in the least amount of strokes. But if you struggle with the line thing for sketches, then if you are patient enough for line art, then you can fix your sketches. You can clean up your sketches in the line art phase, and then just be conscious when you're doing line art to lift your pen up less and follow the contours more of your sketch, and your line should come out quite clean. But don't worry too much about that. Better draftsmanship comes over time, so don't worry. I understand the mess thing. I used to be very, very good at erasing. Where's my... Forgot to zoom back in for you. So these things, this one's from Muji. They're the pencil erasers, so they're like erasers just with a very thin tip. I always use these to clean up my lines. So I never really made a good line in the first place. I would just erase it to make it look good. So there is that too. If you ever want to clean up your sketch. Okay, so Ray is asking, where do you find packaging supplies? Do you have a favorite company? I don't have a favorite company. I just use eBay mostly, and I just tend to stick to the cheapest supplier that I can find, or the ones with the best deal. I am looking into more environmentally friendly type of packaging, so I do want to change eventually to things like things that you can recycle, like tissue paper and biodegradable cellophane bags. I've looked into some companies for that, and they are a lot more expensive. They're about twice the price as the ones that I currently use, so I'm still debating on it, but it's definitely something I want to achieve in the future for all my packaging. Did I answer that? eBay. Did I say eBay? eBay. So Kana is asking, random question, but how do you find that chair? Oh, I need a new desk work chair, and I've been eyeing that one for a while, but not sure how comfortable enough is it to spend money on. So they're talking about the Marcus chair that I got in my other vlog, the one from IKEA. Yeah, it's good, man. I don't have any back pains anymore, so I think it's a testament to it. So yes, I would recommend it. I don't use the armrests on my chair, so that I can tuck my chair in under my desk, because I think that also contributes to sitting properly on the chair. So just keep that in mind. The armrests are quite low though, but I'm a short person. And just make sure your feet touch the ground or something on the ground. So yeah, I do recommend it. It's a good chair. Next question. The Incredible Hulk is asking, what should I do if I'm in a creative block? I know it helps to draw, but I'm so deeply stuck in a block I don't even know what to draw to help me get out of the block. I like to do portraits and people and characters, but I can't think of anything. Oh, if you like those things, then you can start from doing studies of those. It doesn't have to be particularly anything grand or groundbreaking. Actually, I got a comment yesterday about somebody saying when they're in a creative block, they draw themselves being in the creative block, which is it made me laugh. It's very meta. But yeah, don't put any pressure on yourself for when you're in creative block. It's even okay to just do comfort zone stuff. And take a break. Maybe you need a break. I hear that's good, play a bit of Spider-Man, do you some good. But yes, I hope you don't feel too blocked anymore. So Crescent Rose is asking, what screen protector do you use for your iPad Pro? Also, you work so hard and definitely deserve a break. Wish I could buy your merch. Thank you so much. So the screen protector I'm currently using is called the Paperlike. I'll link it below. It was recommended by Mayoko, and I thought I'd try it because I already had a matte screen protector on my screen on my iPad since I got it, and that was good, but I wanted something with more texture, so I tried it out. At first it felt very like there was a lot of resistance, but I got used to it after a while, and it's really nice. I recommend it. I don't like Procreate. I think you guys all know I don't really like Procreate, but it made drawing on Procreate a lot more tolerable, so that's makes it worth its money, right? So I'm now going to move on to some questions I got from people on Tumblr. I don't really use Tumblr a lot anymore. I feel like people still use that platform though, because every time I log in, my dashboard is just wonderful. Like there's just a lot of lovely art on there. So maybe I should consider it more, but for the time being, it's hard for me to even update anything. Oops, yeah. Let me just fix his arm before I have to answer this next question. Your head is massive. I swear one day I'll film one of these things where I'm happy with the drawings I make, but it's really hard to draw when you're half focused on something else. Okay, I'm gonna get to the question. Let's see. Actually. Oh no. Well, okay. Let's just get to the question before my camera decides to die. So Anon is asking, hi, sorry to bother you, but I was curious about your opinion on using the iPad to do digital work. I've seen in your videos that you use one, and I was just curious on what you like and dislike about it. I'm considering purchasing one to do digital art, but I'm unsure as how good quality of the art would turn out, and I'm not sure what size to get, along with how much storage. Okay, so I am a huge fan of the iPad. I think you can do finished works no problem in it. It all just depends on how willing you are to get used to what you what's available to you in terms of apps. So like I was saying before, Clip Studio, this one is the same as the desktop version, so you're fully capable of producing like full-scale paintings. However, the colors are different on the iPad than if you import. How to explain this? The colors are different, so I've rarely painted on the iPad because the colors are different. So for example, let me show you. So if I imported this onto my desktop, which I'm probably going to do now to show you what it looks like, the colors are going to be different. I'm just gonna jump in here and say that I retract my statement about the colors not being the same. They are actually not that bad. I just don't have enough experience in painting on the iPad to really know. I mean, the colours do differ slightly, but nothing that you can't really colour adjust later on to help match what you see on the iPad. So there's just that. Maybe you can get used to it, I don't really know. Maybe you can change the colour profile on the iPad Pro, I have no idea, I haven't looked into that. But yeah, just something to be aware of. I know some people do a lot of finished stuff on the iPad Pro, so it might not be an issue. Maybe just turn off True Tone as well. But yeah, highly recommend it. For storage, I don't think you need that much really. I think it's the lowest 64. If you're not using it for anything else, 128 is sufficient. Even 64 could be sufficient. If you want to use your iPad for other things like movies, music, books, then go for as much as you can if you can afford it, or just go for what's in your budget. There's no need to splash. I've not used the regular iPad, that's not the Pro, but supports the Apple Pencil. I don't know how powerful that is, but this one is probably the most powerful one you can get at the moment, and it still struggles with things like transforming. And I try to keep my iPad as clean as possible. With apps, I don't really download that many outside of drawing apps, so just be aware that the heavier the program or interface, then the more lag you may experience depending on what model you have. But there are a lot of lightweight apps like Procreate that people love, so you could try those out. Medibang is a good one too. I hope that helps. And there is something that I would also mention, the line quality. So you can get really crisp lines, not with this brush that I'm showing you, but I don't even know if I have one readily available. Oops, where's the ink brushes? Haha, here we go. So yes, look, you can get these brushes, which are very smooth, and you can get very nice crisp lines. So I wouldn't worry about that. I do recommend getting an app that has the, that shows the percentage you're zoomed in here. This is one of the reasons why I don't like Procreate, because you just don't know how zoomed in you are to the canvas. Something that can handle up to 300 to 600 dpi, and that's good enough for print. This is a 7,000 pixel canvas at 300 dpi, so I'm drawing pretty small on it, but 100% zoom is about that. So yeah, I'm drawing pretty tiny on this canvas. But do consider that the iPad Pro has quite a high resolution too, so yeah, it's good. It's good, I recommend it. It's good for people who are used to drawing traditionally as well, because the parallax is very minimal, and I really like that about the iPad Pro, which concerns me over display tablets, because I'm looking into getting a display tablet, but I really don't know if I'll like it because of the parallax. I like my Intuos enough not to replace it right now. Okay, next question. What happened? Okay. Oh, don't worry guys, you're not bothering me. I was wondering if you haven't already, could you recommend places to print art, zines, charms, prints, business cards in the UK? whenever I look, their places all seem in America. I understand your struggle there. Yeah, I'll put some below. I usually use printed.com for most of my things. For charms, there's Zap Creatives. They're UK based. Prints and business cards, also printed, but I'll put a couple of other ones down below too. That are quite good. They're UK based, so hope that helps you. Next is some Instagram questions that I got. Let me just get a drink of water. DMA Cherubi.art has asked, my friend and I are going to do our first convention, and I was curious if you knew an easy way to make stickers. I don't have any money yet to buy any fancy machines, I just have a printer. Also, is it possible to make them from my traditional arts? Yeah, there's definitely possible. They will look ace actually. A lot of my friends do it this way. They don't have a die cut machine either, they just have a printer, or you can use your local printer as well. You just buy label paper and you just print your designs on there. So format your traditional sketches and print them out on a sheet of label paper, and then you can just manually cut around them, and that's fine. That's pretty standard, to be honest, and they look great, and there's nothing wrong with that. And you can make like little nice sticker packs as well, so if you make like a set, you can just package them together and sell them together, and they look good and they're cheap. So it's just a little bit more labor intensive, but still a completely valid way to make stickers, and a good cheap way too. Next question. Let's see. Okay. What do you think is the best way to balance learning and practicing the art fundamentals and drawing your own stuff, artworks and sketches? The best way is to oh man, you know what? I would love to know the answer to this question too, because I am struggling right now. I'm trying to go back to fundamentals as well lately. The best way is to doodle by night and to study in the daytime. Just make sure you do your studies when you have brain power to do them. Balance drawing your own things. I think it's good to, like, every time you learn something new or refresh on a fundamental, it's good to try and apply it to what you're drawing with your own things as well. So then you get in the extra practice, and it also solidifies what you've learnt. So I'm trying to do that, kind of. I'm still figuring that one out, but I imagine that would be a pretty good way to do it. I think this is the last question. I'm surprised I've gotten through these. This question is from Maxton PNG. Hi Sush, I just have a question for a future Q&A video, and my question is, how were you able to gain followers, and how were you able to keep an aesthetic consistency? Because your art is so beautiful and has such a good aesthetic. Thank you so much, because you're such an admission. It's very sweet. Followers. I do want to emphasize that I was never really the type of artist who had a lot of followers straight away. I definitely gained my followers over a long period of time, from just like posting consistently. I find that over time there are certain themes and shapes that you are drawn towards, and they manifest in your work naturally without much thought. And sometimes when you create work that you are fond of yourself, you can take elements of it and reproduce it so that your work has a similar kind of feeling overall. So I guess that's where the consistency comes from. A lot of it is drawing what comes natural to you and not really fighting it. It's good to push yourself, out of your comfort zone in terms of learning, but I think if you're trying to produce work to express yourself, then it's good to just let it flow. Not fight it too much, even if you don't like the result. Get the bad drawings out too. I hope that helps or makes sense. And that's it. So thank you everybody who asked a question. If I missed your question, I'm very sorry. I feel like I missed some people on Instagram that I said I would answer. So please remind me if I said I would answer your question and I haven't. I'm not very organized with these questions sometimes. Yes, just feel free to remind me. And if you have any other questions, then just drop them below, or on Instagram or Tumblr or Twitter, and I would be happy to answer them in the next Q&A. I just want to quickly mention that I have leftover stock right now in my store, so if you're interested in grabbing anything, my shop will be open now, and I also have a big update in October. Yeah, I'm gonna be a bit busy with that and comp prep for the next month. But I'm so grateful that you guys still watch my videos. Yeah, it makes me really happy to be able to talk to you guys, especially about art, because there aren't a lot of people I can talk to about art in my day-to-day life. So yeah, take care, and I'll see you next time. I hope I drew enough. I didn't draw anything.